So we have Samhrita with us, All India rank 560.
Hello.
Congratulations, first of all, Samhrita.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So Samhrita, you were always that serious student in the class who would sit
Yes,
silent
sir.
and you would not even know what exactly is going on. And of course, now you've ended up with very good results. So how does it
Yes.
feel? And are you happy with the result?
Yes, I wanted to do, obviously everyone wants to do better, but I am quite happy, and I was serious. I was working towards my goals, of course. So
Sort of you kept us guessing. I mean, of course, the answers came in from time to time, but we were not
yeah.
exactly sure what is going on in our mind.
Yeah, I mean, my mocks were a bit indecisive. I didn't know what the result could be later on.
So which were your strong areas or weak areas during your CLAT preparation?
Interesting thing is, it always fluctuated everywhere. Sometimes I got 40 in legal, sometimes
40 in legal.
yes, one mock I got 40 in legal, but never again. So it was a ride, really.
So how do you prepare with such inconsistency? I mean, usually people have it very clear that these are my strong areas. I'll spend a little extra time on them, and perhaps the weaker areas, I'll try to improve on those areas. Since you were never clear, was it always a balanced approach while preparing?
I mostly focused on 3 sections: English, legal, and logic. And I prepared, and I thought, like, obviously the difficulty increased in the mocks, but I was not too phased about that, and I worked towards it. And GK I did more sporadically throughout the year. I read newspapers, but I became more serious in the last 2 months. Obviously, the paper was around the GK. It was a bit out there, but I think it went okay. It went okay, fine.
Samhrita, could you lead us through your mock scores, as in आपने कहाँ पे start किया था, and what was the high point of the preparation that you thought कि, right now I'm pretty confident in walking to an examination?
So how it started was, I would not attempt the whole paper. I would only attempt 50 questions, but do it with concentration. That's not a good strategy at all. So I scored from 30s, then it went to 60s and averaged at 70s. Highest was at 93 or 4, I guess. So it was kind of an encouragement. So slow, I could see myself improving. And that was really something that helped me in the exam too, because I just, my mindset was that I would just give it like it's a mock. So not really put so much pressure onto myself and just like breeze through it.
Is it a conscious choice of focusing on efficiency rather than the quantity, or is it something that you realize it later?
Quantity is more important, but obviously you cannot sacrifice the core concepts that they must be clear. Obviously, we cannot attempt so much and not know how it will be. And we should be clear that this answer that we're attempting is right, and be quick with it. So that's important.
Did you walk to the examination with a premeditated number of attempts that you had to attempt this much?
My mindset was that I have to not stress too much about it and just give it in a level-headed manner.
How much did you, what was the attempt number in the actual examination?
I would say around 150.
And do you remember the individual scores that you've got?
I would say section-wise.
Yeah.
Section-wise, English would be 23 and around that, and GK was about 13 to 14, and logic was about 28, and legal was kind of 23 to 24, I guess.
So, Samrita, during your preparations, was there a significant change in the way you were approaching the preparation in the first year of the coaching with us, and then in the second year? Was there a significant change, or was it more or less the same thing?
There was a significant change. First year, I wasn't that serious, but I was doing practice sets, but not with that much of seriousness in mind. Second year, I did most of the material, like the material that was provided to me. I finished all of it, and I also bought extra material. So I was with a mindset that I have to keep practicing.
And were you a voracious reader, or is it something that you had to work on once you decided to prepare for CLAT?
I have always liked reading books. Obviously, during the 10th boards, the habit became a bit, it stopped. But later on during the pandemic, I got into it again, and I've been reading books since a long time.
Now, keeping in mind that, of course, you had your school exams to be dealt with, and of course, you had to prepare for CLAT accordingly. So what was the duration of study that you would do on a general day? So when I say general day, of course, I'm saying if you have school exams, perhaps you'll stop for a short while. So on a regular school day, how would you schedule it? How much time would you give for CLAT? And that time again, how much of it will go to, let's say, GK preparation or section-wise preparation? Did you have a plan for that?
So I will be honest, I studied more for CLAT than I did for my school exams. Usually, my day would consist of reading the newspaper, and also whenever there would be a new monthly monthly, I would read that. But any other news, I would not really focus that much. And then I would try to do about six passages for each section, the 3 sections. Except for that, I really would not.
Passages per section every day.
Yeah, 6 for English and logic, and legals, not 8, but maybe 6 or like 4.
Samita, now turns out that the class that we used to teach in the same class, there are at least 5-6 people, and technically it is the group that you had, all of them made it through, almost all of them. So was it like a group session that sometimes you referred to for motivation of a practice of a quizzing?
We have a group, and we did a thing where we found a book for GK and in the school library, and then we photocopied it and we distributed it amongst ourselves, and then we studied, and then we exchanged like GK material amongst us. So it was quite helpful, and all of us were motivated, and we were motivating each other.
What was the major reason of you choosing law as a career?
I've always found that law was a quite interesting career choice, and it's something that is agreeable to me compared to other career paths.
Right. Now, Samrita, looking back, and if somebody comes up to you right now and asks you, what is the proper strategy to prepare for a year? Now, for you, it seems like you were absolutely serious in the last 4 months. And for somebody who's preparing for an entire year, turns out you need to be ready for a pattern like CLAT where you're asked to read 27, 28 passages. And the major problem that happens is brain fatigue because our brain gets tired. So what advice would you give for the first 6 months where they can work upon consciously to improve in this basic part of skill?
So I think it's very important to enjoy the process, but also to have a habit of reading. And it's better to even have such a habit from childhood if they have it. If not, they should start slowly by borrowing books from their school library. And even I did that. I read a lot of books. Even though I was preparing for entrance exams, I made some time to read books, and increase my speed reading abilities.
Right. So when you say that you should enjoy the process, so in fact, I wanted to come to that. So is it just studies, or would you also find time to do other things? So when you say enjoyment, is it enjoying the process of preparing itself, or were you also taking your mind off and maybe relaxing, doing something, maybe an extracurricular or a hobby that you might have pursued during that time?
I would say both. While studying, you should enjoy it. Sometimes the passages are really funny, so it's good to really get into it. And sometimes I would give the mock and the passage would be really funny. I would giggle a little bit, so it's fun. And also for like side hobbies and all, yeah, I watch shows, I listen to music. It was relaxed. The preparation was I was laid back.
You were laid back? I don't think so.
A little bit.
Right. And what about career aspirations? So you want to finish the law program, become a lawyer, practice, or is it something else that you're planning?
I want to study more. I want to go overseas and study a little bit more, see what career prospects are in front of me. So I haven't really thought that much into it, but I'll look forward to what the future holds.
Right. So when you took the CLAT paper again, I'll probably revisit the sections and everything. So since you said that there were no specific strength or weaknesses and it was quite inconsistent for you, in that case, how does one make a strategy? Like, I'm going to attempt this section first, then I'll go to this. So did you have a fixed strategy, or were you flexible with that, very fluid, that I'll look at the paper, then I'll take a call?
My strategy was pretty simple. I went according to how the sections went in the paper. The only thing is, time must be set according to each section. Surpassing the time is not something I would
Could you give us
recommend.
a little more detail on that?
So the exam starts with English. English section must be finished under 30 minutes. And then going to GK, I would say 5 to 10 minutes. Legal, 40 minutes. Logic, 30 minutes. So setting the time and practicing accordingly is very important. And because once, and we should really not exceed the time, because towards the end, there is a possibility that we might have to leave some passages, which is really not recommended.
Mm-hmm. So even when you were practicing, would you always time yourself while doing any passage?
Yes, I would time myself. Even the practice sets on the aspiration account, they would also be timed. So it was quite helpful.
Samhrita, now let us know about the fact of this idea about how to persist on the motivational factor for an entire year, right? Because when an examination like CLAT, which spans for, let's say, 6 months or a year or 2 years, where would you hold on to the fact that there is an examination jo itna dur hai and I need to remain consistent about it? Where is the motivation coming from?
Motivation is, of course, for me, I thought there's too much competition. There must be some edge. So the edge is that you must practice every day and really think that there is no way out. Must have a tunnel vision that you have to get into an NLU. And that was what my mindset was, and I'm glad to have made it.
Have you thought about, with a rank of 5/6, which college, or have you researched about it, or what was the preference list like?
My preference list is how the career launcher has specified, and
Recommended, I would say.
I have changed it a little bit due to parents' preferences and my preferences. And about the colleges that I'll get into, it's a bit confusing, I would say. I still need some guidance on that. So I'll see how it is.
Right, Samhrita, thanks a lot for taking out the time, and it was
Thank
a
you,
very
sir.
good discussion. And continue to be the resolute person that you are,
Thank you,
silent
sir.
but that silent assassin, right?
Mhm.
But also probably you should try to open up a little bit more, because the kind of profession that you're getting into, I'm sure you'll do well. Wishing you all the best for all the future endeavors.
Thank you so much. Thank you.